Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday, April 21st. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, spring is here and summer's coming. So it's so funny. Today it's rainy and it's 50 degrees and it is chilly out there. Thank goodness for the rain. Oh my gosh. I would go outside and I went to like blow off the little rug outside my back door so the dogs wouldn't track stuff in. I ended up having a terrible coughing fit. It was like inhaling some almost sand. I mean, it was terrible. So, and I know that's not a serious problem, but goodness gracious. So, it is so good to see all of you and I was a few minutes late coming down because I went to write the agenda and checked, and sure enough, some people had loaded photos. Well, I downloaded as much as I could for today's show and tell because it's always so precious when you send me things like that. I'm cutting out one of my butterflies. It's so funny. I'll tell you all about this week. It's been a pleasant week, but I could not find, and I know I have another one of these butterflies and I could not find it to save me. So today, when I was packing up to come down here, I found it. And of course, I'm like, well, I've got to cut it out and put it on the quilt. So, and wait till I show you. I got the watercolor quilt fully done, quilted, and bound. So it was a very nice week. I can go ahead and tell you now, but last Sunday morning, my Mark left for a week at the beach. He's been gone all week. And I have to tell you, that can be really nice. As much as I miss him, it's kind of nice because then I have a week to myself and I eat when I want, what I want. I watch on TV whatever I want. I watch so many quilting shows. I binge watched a couple Netflix and Amazon miniseries. It was wonderful. So here's the cute little butterfly I just cut out, and I will end up putting it on the quilt. But the one bad thing about this week was that by Sunday night, I had a sore throat. And that sore throat hung around all um until, well, by Wednesday, it had been so bad for so long. I'm unpacking my basket. It had been so bad for so long that I went ahead and took a COVID test just in case, because I had gone to the musical of my grandson last week. Wanted to make sure I didn't come home with a surprise, and came home, and I mean, took the test and it was negative. And then by the next day, the sore throat was gone. Well, mostly gone, but I had a terrible head cold. So, the good thing about being on my own this week and not doing a show Thursday night is I took it easy. Oh boy, did I take it easy. So, that was wonderful. So, let me just finish unpacking. So, here I can, there we go. And I'm hoping my Mark will come along any moment. And it has been rainy his whole way home. He said he's chilled and cold. And I said, well, come home. There's a warm shower. I turned up the heat in the house. I want him to come home and feel like, ah. So, and well, might as well now. I've got a thank you note written and ready to go in the mail to Sonia and to Marcia. I'm sorry it took me so long, but they are coming now. All right. It is so good to be here now that I'm unpacked. All right, I'll just start showing you stuff because that way, maybe we can be done a little sooner and I'll be able to see the sweetheart. So I had to put a order in for a new bathing suit. And I happened to notice before I clicked order that they had a denim shirt on sale for $10. Well, you know me and my deals. So now it is polka dot, and I don't like it. But there's a reason I didn't mind. So it's loose, it's short sleeved, it's lightweight because I never wear um sweatshirts. They're too heavy. But remember how I bought some wonderful African block printed fabric that has um some wonderful designs on it, and I'm doing like a shibori technique because I have been wanting to make a boro jacket. And so I thought, well, I could make a denim shirt. Well, by the time you buy the fabric and take all the time to make it. So when I saw that $10 one, yay. And so what I'm going to do is and this is kind of a cheater's cloth, but I don't care. I'm just starting to learn the shibori technique, which is hi Joso, which is just the Japanese sewing technique that was developed over time to prepare clothing. And so I just love that stuff. So with this one, as you can see, I started on it, didn't get very far, but I'm just kind of following the pattern that's on the fabric. It also reminds me of my very favorite indigo. And speaking of that, I hope to make some more indigo fabric this summer. That was so much fun. So since I'm going to cut these out a block at a time and sew them onto the denim shirt, it doesn't matter that it is polka dotted because it'll be covered up. So I thought I would show you that. I got that in and I was very tickled. And of course, I got the bathing suit with a skirt on it. And my Mark hates bathing suits with skirts, but it makes me more comfortable. And I've got to be around. We're taking the whole family to, is it called an Airbnb, whatever, a lake house we're renting after our wedding. And so I want to be comfortable walking back and forth to the water. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Sorry, Mark. I bought a bathing suit he'll like better, but I can save that to when it's just him and I. All right. So, oh my goodness, so many, many things. Okay, let me see. Did I just cover up? I already lost that little butterfly. Here it is. And I've got something to tell you. See, I just covered it with some fabric, the back of it, because you really don't see it once you pin it on. But here is the watercolor wash quilt, and it is all done. All done. Let me move back just a little. All done and bound. Just needs a label. I have been very bad at labeling my quilts, but I'm going to start right now. Now, you see the other butterfly I already put on there. I was looking at it and it was still a little soft. And I thought, oh, I hate every time I pull it out, I'm going to have to fluff up the butterfly. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. So, what I did is I had it sewn on the quilt. Then I went and got some of my triple thick acrylic sealer and I lightly brushed it on. And guess what? It gave it enough body. And while it was drying, I held it in the position that I wanted it to take. And it was great. It dyed with enough body to hold that shape. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll sew this on first, then I'll brush some of that, hold it. And the good thing is triple thick dries so fast. So that is good. Now, so I don't lose this again, I'm going to go ahead and pin it on. And because I hated losing, I've still got one more that I'm not sure where it is. So, all right. Well, hello. So that was a quick little entry. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to go back to showing you one of my quilts each week because I like that. I like seeing them again too. And most all of them have a story. And you know me, I love my stories. This is, can anyone tell what this quilt is? Does anyone remember? I'll give you a hint. It's like from 12 years ago at least. Does anyone, or 15 years ago, anyone find this quilt at all familiar? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to come and see who is here, and then we're going to talk about the quilt. All right. I'm dating myself for sure, but let's see who is here. I'm worried I don't see Miss Marcia. Oh, no. Okay, so Sonia, hi, sweetheart. And I read some interesting information started by Melanie, and you chimed in, made my ears perk up. All right, Lisa's here. Hi, beautiful Lisa. Gosh, hi, Miss Lisa. I think I would love to go back to the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party this week and sew again. I guess we can't, we have to wait till next January, but boy, I can't wait till next January. I'm going to go ahead and roll up my sleeves. I knew it was cold down here, so I wore a long sleeve shirt, but I tell you what, it doesn't take me long to warm up. I've never seen somebody warm up by just talking. But I guess I put everything into my talking. So I'm sorry I didn't tell you Mark was going to the beach, but I don't tell anybody because, you know, it's just, you know, although I don't know why I worry. Having three dogs is the best security system ever. Nothing happens anywhere around here that they don't know about. But anyway, okay. Now I feel more comfortable. That's why I never buy long sleeve like t-shirts and stuff. During the winter, I wear the same clothes that I wear in the summer. All right, everybody. So we're finished up at Lisa. Pat is here. Yes, Pat, I miss the beach, but hopefully at some point I'll be going back to the beach. And let me see who else. Laura is here. Hi, beautiful lady. He stays in a fisherman's hotel. So it's not fancy. And he stays at a part of the beach that is so secluded. It's not like Myrtle Beach that's touristy. And he loves it because it's just him and a few fishermen, and it's quiet, and he shuts off his brain. And by the end of the week, he's like, I'm ready to come home. And it's wonderful. Mark is very, I don't want to say intense. I guess intense is the best way. Everything he does, he tries to do his very best. And at work, he's very, very competent at what he does. And they turn to him a lot. And so he needs some time to get away and just shut down his brain. And he's like me. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning, the brain is going, going, going. And I know there must be smoke coming out of his ears at times because that brain just goes. And he takes everything so seriously. So do I. So, okay, here we go. So Laura is here. Yay. Betty Meisner is here. It's so good to see you, Betty. Joso is here. I get a kick out of Joso. She's really got me interested in finding out more about her and her work. Very talented. Okay, so let's see who else. Debbie is here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, these are, I love when I find a type of bead that I can make into a necklace. And with my big head, I like stretchy beads. So, oh, thank you. You know what it is? It is my signature color. And so even my wedding outfit is a peacock blue green because it's like it just works. So I bet I look terrible in red. Don't ever put me in red or orange. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. All right, but thank you for those comments. Oh yeah, Lisa would like to be back at Myrtle Beach. I miss it. I tell you what, and I've got to be honest, Lisa. I just say what my feelings are. Having that friend there at the retreat makes me even more excited. And because I usually go up by myself and I'm kind of a lone wolf type of person, I'm kind of just happy on my own. But I have met Miss Lisa, who is just such a wonderful, perfect fit for me and a wonderful person to have there. We're both independent, but it's nice when we see each other. So it's made Lisa, meeting you has been a very good thing for my enjoyment of Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. And if anybody's interested, look up myrtlebeachquiltparty.com on the internet and you can find out the information. They had some opening spots. Sadly, they've been doing it for about 40 years. And so some of the older crowd have had to drop out. And so they have some spaces open. But let's see. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. Oh, right. Yes, that wedding outfit. I'll be showing y'all. And of course, I'm going to show you pictures, but it has just enough little sequins and beads. It's like, yay. So hopefully, I mean, I'm a big girl, so I'm going to make a presence. So anyway, Sue Lambert, hello. Oh, that is so nice of you, Sue. Michelle Lang is here. I have thought all week I've got to contact Michelle. Well, I got to tell y'all this. I with just me and the dogs here, it's hard to get my sleep, and with Mark gone, I found it even harder to sleep. So sometimes I didn't get to sleep till 5 or 5:30. Then the dogs want fed between 8:30 and 9. Then I go back to bed. Then there were times that I was just because my sleep has been so choppy, I would sleep till 1. It That's the hardest thing. This time I could not get my sleep straightened out. And I thought about trying to, take a little sleep aid, but I said, no, I've got to be able to hear the dogs and hear the cell phone in case, someone needs me. So everything was great except the sleep. And I I worry because I have a feeling that I'm going to fall asleep tonight and I'm not going to wake up until most of the day's gone tomorrow because I don't do well when I just get little bits of sleep. Oh, and I just read this. And I get my news from the Washington Post. So I don't get it online weird places. So if I tell you something, know that it's from a real source. They're now saying, I don't like total darkness because I'm afraid of the dark and have been my whole life. And so if it's totally dark, I mean, I can't see anything, I feel like I'm suffocating. And so that's not a good thing. And but I like a night light. I'll even fall asleep watching the TV and things. I read this article that said you really should try to sleep in total darkness, that any amount of light affects how you sleep. You don't get to sleep as deeply, that if any light is available at all, you feel a little more alert, and it's our biological nature. So I now have to learn to try to sleep in as much total darkness as I can get. And one of my problems is I have a tablet holder by my bed, and sometimes I would fall asleep watching YouTube shows on sewing and things, and it would be right in front of my face, and I would sleep for hours that way. I cannot do that. So I need to find a way, put it on some kind of timer that it goes off. And so I just thought I would tell you if you're like me and you tend to have sleep problems, it's good to find out why and try to correct that, because sometimes I do feel way too tired during the day because my sleep cycles are all crazy. So anyway, enough of that, but I thought I'd let you know. And it was important that I read that there have been studies done. It's not just, oh, somebody thinks this time. No. So, but anyway, Michelle, it is so good to see you. I owe you a text message. Who's from Washington State? That's what, you know what? I have been listening to J.A. Jance, her audiobooks, and she's based out of Washington State. And I'm fascinated with the weather. I've learned a lot so much. I've learned a lot since I've been listening to the audiobooks about the weather. It's not just what I thought, and it's fascinating. So, um, nice to have you here. And in fact, while I'm thinking of it, let me give everyone my email address, because if you want any of my free patterns, or if you would like, um, okay, or if you would like to join our group SIO, I would love to have you there. So welcome, Miss Sue. It is so nice. We had a new member join the other day, Michelle, another Michelle. At different times we've had three Michelles, but Michelle Lang, nobody compares with our Michelle Lang. In fact, she's why I started this 6 years ago. I didn't realize what a diamond I had here. She would come sew with me almost every week. And when she left, I realized, oh my gosh, I've lost something precious. And so I thought, well, maybe if I start a group, it'll kind of be like we're a virtual sewing group. So, ah, that is neat. Well, I hear about lots of rain, but I didn't realize that the temperatures are so mild. And, I forget that the ocean currents coming up help create an artificial environment in a way, because Seattle's pretty north and it doesn't get the snow and the cold of other cities up that high. Kind of like England. Polly is here. Hi, Miss Polly. So, Miss Polly, there has been no cleaning done in the studio this week, but this week is going to be. I'm going to put a strong effort. I was telling everybody, Miss Polly, that I got a terrible sore throat Sunday night, and Mark was gone all week. He went to the beach. And so I was trying to get over that. Luckily, it was not COVID. I finally tested it. And J.H. answer, it's a lot about Seattle. Yes. Oh, wow. It sounds wonderful working on your hexagon grandmother's flower garden. K Facet. Yes. In fact, Miss Sue, share your photos with us. We do a show and tell every week, and we'd love to see. And we love chatty people like you. So you found your new home, because we love that. We love learning, and each person here brings so much to our table, and we appreciate that. So, but anyway, then I got a cold, and then now today, I don't know, hopefully I don't sound different, but my asthma is acting up. And, you know, I tried to clean a few things and was in and out, letting the chickens out and then putting them back away. And I think the pollen got to me. But luckily, it's rained now. In fact, I have a photo to show you, because, yes, spring is here. Oh, and I did have a chance to go out very quickly, plant some spinach yesterday. And okay, let me bring this up. Whoop, no, don't. Whoop, whoop. Let me bring this up. I have a double clematis, or clematis, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, that I planted about 10 years ago. And it is in its glory now. And it's a double, and it's a light lavender. My only complaint is that it's not a darker lavender, because right now, let me see. If I turn off this light, let me see. Well, it's going to show up as white because I'm right in front of the window. But that thing is gorgeous. And I thought, I have to take a picture to show them. Oh, the other day while Mark was away, I pulled out our photo that we took on our first date. And here it is. So that was Mark and I 20 years ago. So, and I think that's all that I put on here. Let me just check. Wanted to have them downloaded, but you know what? I opened up the about 2 o'clock. I opened up my email, and there were all these notifications of photos uploaded. So I was so excited about getting those downloaded. All right, now let's first talk. I have not, so not feeling well. I didn't get as much done as I wanted, but I got to tell you, I don't, I'm not a person who just goes, I'm not going to get anything done. And this week, to take the time off that I did, yay! Oh, thank you. We we've seen so much and been through the wonderful and the tough. So it is wonderful. And when you have someone that sits in a waiting room for almost 12 hours until he can see me after my cancer surgery where I had a kidney removed, and then he comes home and for a month he gives you shots in your lower belly every day, even when you're crying because you don't want another shot, then you know you got something good. Hold on to it. So I've almost finished. This is block number 8. Yes, this is block number 8. And I have just a couple of the little yellow triangles. And then the final touch will be 4 of these orange corners to give it the square look that it needs. So with block 8 being done, now I have 9 blocks made because remember they had a bonus block. And so I'll just show you real quick. Here's one of them. I should have numbered the back of them, but I haven't. This is English paper piecing. And remind me, I found a great site that discusses the difference between English paper piecing and foundation paper piecing because there is a difference. One is done on the machine and it's not English paper piecing. But I've got to tell you guys, after saying for 20 years I would never do a hexie, I have a feeling a hexie's in my future because I've absolutely loved this. So these are the 9 blocks. Oop, that still had a pin in it. And they're done on cardstock that I have printed out the shapes. Now, with all of these blocks floating around, I have been wanting very much. This is the one that had 64 pieces in this one 12-inch block. And if I tell you what, if I had to do it any other way but besides English paper piecing, it never would have gotten done. So I've been anxious. You once saw a documentary on a beautiful flower garden. Oh, yes. Oh, they can grow beautiful gardens in Washington State and parts of Oregon. Oh my goodness. So I have been thinking I would really, really like to put these blocks together. When you do English paper piecing, you have a decision to make. That decision is if you if you are going to put the blocks together, then all of the outside blocks you do not glue based or sew based. So on these, I should have, if I wanted to put the sashing on by machine, I should have left all the edges open like this. But you know what? Part of the joy in this has been I can do this sitting in my recliner watching my favorite show at night. And because, yes, I love my sewing machine. If I don't sew within 3 days, I start, you know, having withdrawal symptoms. I love my sewing machine, but I'm getting older and a couple hours at the machine, I'm done. And so what I did is I looked it up. That's how I found this one site. In fact, let me go ahead, key these sites into you. I put them in an email so I could easily. Okay. Whoops. I can do this, I promise. First, I'm going to give you the main site. And here I come. I didn't take my medicine for my trimmer until just a few minutes ago, so it hasn't worked yet. I apologize for that, but okay. So this is the main site. This site has articles, it has tutorials, it has patterns, and the patterns seem reasonably priced. Now I'm going to give you the site for the whole email. Oops. And I think you're going to have to take the period, the dot off of the end of this link because I don't think it'll work this way. Oh, well, let me see if I can take it off. Oh, gosh. Oh, I don't want to mess it up. I did it. Okay. Here, this is the next site. This will explain to you English paper piecing, and I think they call it FPP for the other. And I think that stands for foundation. At least I hope it does. But anyway, but I was thinking about it. I read the articles. I was thinking about it. And the one thing that I have dearly loved is the hand sewing aspect. And yes, 30 years ago, actually, it was even more because I was hired at the Historic Museum. I know I've told you all about that before. And I said, I love sewing, but one thing I won't do is hand sewing. Well, when you're working on historic costumes, you have to do hand sewing because anything that's visible has to be done by hand. And I've got the carpal tunnel scar to prove that I did a lot of hand sewing. And actually, I came to love it. It's my favorite thing. Hand quilting, I love it. It just takes too long, so I use a machine. But what I ended up doing is I looked up in the pattern. I looked up, did somebody else come in? Okay, just wanted to make sure I don't want to miss anybody because we don't have our Marcia here today. But anyway, I looked up in the pattern to read, what do you do? And like I said, if I was going to sew the blocks to the sashing by hand, I would have to open up all of the outside edge seam allowances. And I thought, no, I want to do it, continue the way I've been doing it. So what I did is found out the sashings are 1.5 inches by the 12.5 inches. So they fit easily on each block. Then it's going to have cornerstones. So I had to cut out 1.5 inch squares because, and I did them out of cardstock. And some of this is made from a cardstock that had come out of misprint. So I'm able to recycle whenever I can. So out of those strips of cardstock, I've now glued on the sashing fabric and I glued on the cornerstone fabric. So I probably will sew the cornerstones on first. I'm not sure. But these, now what I will do is take this, put it right sides together, stitch it along, and I've got to make sure that everything is labeled which way is up, and I've got to put them in the correct order because, not every block gets the same amount of pieces on it. But I think that I looked online and found sashing that echoes the colors but has a little lightness in between. So I'm going to be working on these. Now, I did make a boo-boo, and I tell you always my boo-boos. This I cut out of cardstock is only 11 and a half inches. So each of these is an inch short. Now, I think it's 11 and a half. Let me double check. I always get confused. What does that paper measure when it comes out? 11 inches. So it's an inch and a half short. So then I was sitting there tearing, my favorite thing. I love tearing fabric. And I tore it extra big so that any fraying at the edge I can trim off or tuck under. I cut all 24 of my sashing pieces. Then I wanted to cut them to length. Without thinking, I grabbed one of my cardboard things and cut it just a half inch bigger than this, which means that almost all of the ones I cut are an inch and a half too short. So by the time I realized I had a few left, and because yeah, I only have four correct ones. And one of the tricky things is the fact that the cardboard's not long enough. So I'll see what I think if I just sew them to the bottom and then let the other part hang free for now until I know. But that's one of the problems. And I thought, I don't want to glue two pieces together or have a bump in it, but I probably should have gone ahead, glued an extra piece on each one so I wouldn't make that mistake. What I'm thinking of, because I've got a solution, I think, is to take the scraps and to try the best I can match the plaids on these and sew an extra half an inch on, an inch and a half on. And because I hate to waste these, and I don't know when I would ever use, 20 of these scraps. So I'll work it out. Mary is here. Hi, sweetheart. So anyway, I've got my cornerstones almost done. I need to cut some more of the cardstock for that. But then now I can start in the evenings also putting the blocks together. I'm so excited. So, and when it comes to putting the border on, I don't know if I want to sew a border on by hand, but I'll make that decision later. As Scarlett said, tomorrow is another day. Oh, goodness. I hate that movie. Okay. So, oh, I was supposed to tell you about the quilt behind me. Did anyone know? You didn't do the bonus block. You're working on block 10. Lisa, fantastic. Oh my gosh, Lisa, you're something else. Oh, so did anyone figure out? I'm kind of just glancing, but I might have missed it. If anyone figured out what this quilt is. Yeah, Gone with the Wind is the most fictitious thing you ever saw. But anyway, what can I say? Um, all right. This quilt was designed by Ebony Love, which love Ebony Love. She is great, but she designed this quilt for Downton Abbey. And I loved the oh gosh, Maggie Smith played the role. Now Violet, yes, I love the Violet's role the best. I mean, she had the most fun. Oh God, yes, Carol Burnett's curtain skit was timeless. So this was from Downton Abbey. We had a little group that got together that worked on these. We had a Downton Abbey party. I mean, boy, you would have thought Downton Abbey was the next blockbuster. And I dearly loved the series, but I've got to say I'm not much on this quilt, and I'm going to have to finish it because I bought 6 yards or 10 yards of fabric to do the backing and the border and all of that. But I think the thing is, I didn't really like the way the fabric was printed. I don't really like blocks that are that big. I don't know, but I would love to do some more or different ones of Ebony's patterns, but this one, it hasn't stood the test of time. So be careful of trendy. You like the quilt? Oh, be careful with that. I might pass it on to you. If I decide it's just too much to finish, I will remember Peggy. I mean Holly, and pass it on to her. So that was the quilt. I pulled that out today. I thought, oh, that'll be fun to see. All right. So then I haven't done any red work. I apologize. But I did work on this. And this is, I was wanting to do another portrait style quilt. Portrait style quilt, meaning taking a real item, a real thing, and turning it into um, a pattern that shows the different intensities, shows the different um, lights and darks so that you can make actual pattern pieces, choose the fabrics, and do a very realistic rendering of them. So here is what I did work on this week. Here is the start of my pattern. And of course, the pattern's going to be given to you for free. But I got to tell you, I hope to have it ready today. I really worked hard on it, but I'm having to try to figure out how to label this so that you will know what you're doing. And that's tricky. I've gone as far as numbering each piece so that when you cut out the pattern pieces for it, you'll be able to know where to place it. But it is a tricky one. And now what I have to do is label each sub piece inside. All these little things. I've got to label all of them in a manner that it makes sense to you. And so I've written up a page of some notes. And so when I have this ready, and you notice too, I did page 1, page 2, page 4, page 3. So what I've done, and I've even got, these are little symbols at where the 2 pages should meet. Okay. So I have little, it's either a straight line or a circle or a double line. Those are registration marks to help you line up the pages. But this is, I'm doing this, it's all me. I found a flower picture from a flower site and I'm working this out. And so whew, it's a lot. But once I've got the pieces numbered, then I have to look on here and I have to find my fabrics or my fabric colors. And I'm probably going to, I think 1 through 6 should be enough. But I've got to make sure that the white highlights are put in, the yellow highlights are put in, the deep central flower. So, what I would suggest, I should have this on the site this week. Hope, hope, hope. And let me show you. So, I first enlarged it, then I turned it to grayscale, and I cannot find the posterized. Miss Jody wrote, amazing. Do you leave all the cuts raw edges? Yes. I'm going to, what I'm going to do is take the fabric I'm going to use. I'm going to iron fusible on the back of each of those fabrics. That way, when you cut out the actual fabric piece, boom, it's ready to be peeled and put down. And I get to use on this, I'm going to get to use my new silicone ironing mat. So this means, ooh, it's kind of sticky. It feels different. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is iron all the pieces onto this. So I'm going to build the flower here. And I'm just wondering if it's big enough. I will build half of a flower on this, then place this on the fabric, then build the other half of the flower. So, but I get to use this, and this is a wonderful way because it won't stick to this. So then you can carefully peel it off and put it on your fabric. So I'm very excited about that. But if you would please give me a little more time, I want to make it as easy for you as I can, which means I have to look at, I'm going to have to sit and look at this and look at my drawing and say, oh, that little sliver, that's color number 3. Oh, that little sliver, that's color number 2. And then I've got to mark all those same little slivers on the pattern because I don't want you to have to do anything but cut, find the position, place, and there you go. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Let me put this back away. I chose this particular mat because it has this wonderful carrying case. And I knew that if I were going to take good care of it, I would have to have a place to store it. So anyway, I'm probably going to go through more. I like steam seam too. I'm probably going to go through more of that than I would like, but I don't want to have to try to cut a tiny little pattern and then try to cut the same pattern with steam seam. I'm going to do it all at once, and if I keep everything organized, I want to thank Melinda Beulah. I have been watching her YouTube channel, Melinda Bula. Melinda Beulah, who has been teaching me by watching her YouTube channel. I have been learning my way through this. So, but there's a lot that you kind of just have to learn on your own. This flower is a dahlia. And when you go to pick a flower, you need to have enough petals for interest and enough color variation for interest. So you've got to be kind of careful. If you were to pick a white daisy, it'd probably be harder. Um, if you pick a peony or peony, it might be harder because there's so many petals. So you kind of want something that's not too many petals, or you want something that doesn't have too few petals. And oh, I want to tell y'all something while I'm thinking about it. I went outside the other day and I on the driveway and I smelled something heavenly. I have a fringe tree out here and it is like an overdose of honey. It's so wonderful. And I'm not sure who the person was that planted it, but I am so thankful here 40 years later that I've got this amazing, amazing French tree. The only other tree that I know of that has such a strong fragrance would be a black locust. And I know they're kind of considered weed trees, but the flowers are heavenly. So anyway, I'm going to make sure now that it's rained, I'm going to go pick some of the blossoms and bring them into the house. But okay, so what I was thinking of, and I wanted to see what you thought. What I was thinking of is turning this flower into our Thursday night art quilt because I'm so in love with this and want to get the process right. So I would like to turn this into our Thursday night. And because I'm after, like, I think I'm going to teach 2 or 3 weeks and then take a little break of a week or two off. So I thought, let's turn this into our art quilt. And that way I can keep going on it. I really love it. So on Sundays, we'll just keep up with our English paper piecing. I'll try to find some more interesting quilts for you. And I got so excited because, I want to give our second annual um, class where in the second or third week of July, I haven't decided which one yet. I want to get a little bit away from July 4th because some people might be gone. But I do a week-long class and we do it on a Zoom-like format. It's called Jitsi. It's free. The whole class is free. And so I asked everybody what they would like to do. And then I ended up finding a quilt that I absolutely adored. So this week, without having read on the site, everybody was like, "Oh, I want to do a storm at sea." And I went, "Oh, okay." And we can, because you know what? I actually have a storm at sea pattern that I did 12 years ago that I've never finished. And I would love to finish it. So I can save this for a different one. But the one that I saw online that I just went, wow, was this. It's called the Wildflower. This is the half version because it was going to be 90 by 90. And that's just too big for me. I'm kind of, and if somebody wanted to do the full size, they could, but I'm kind of scaled back on what I do. So here is the block, and I've got all of the cutting information. It's going to be a foundation paper piece. And I even designed an applique border for it. But not to worry because we can do it another time. Also, what I did, oh, and I don't have it with me, it's on the base of the computer. You were going to have 144 blocks. Did I give you my storm at sea? I didn't know that. Huh. My goodness. Okay. I didn't remember doing that, but I must have. Okay. Well, my storm at sea, I might have tried a couple of them. There was one I took in a class that was going to go from yellow down to through to deep blue. So you messed up on it. Well, I tell you what, if you send me a picture, then I'll know if I have the other one but what I did, if we ever want to do this too, we can decide between this or Storm at Sea. I have the fabrics that you need, and now that it's been reduced in size, it has greatly reduced the amount of fabric. So we'll keep talking about this, but oh, Sue Lambert's looking forward to the flower pattern. So I will try to get that done. And and then what we'll do is next week I will see if I have the storm at sea. I could always start again. But I bought this when I took the class. I bought this expensive $25 ruler, which 12 years ago, that was a lot for me. I didn't like using the ruler. So we will find a different way. Templates might be better. The colors are burgundy and browns. Oh, good. That's not the one then. Yay. Okay, so I still have a storm at sea. So what I'll do is probably go onto the group, post the two choices, take a vote. But I'm thinking by the number of people who wrote in on that post and said they'd like to do a storm at sea. So when we do our show and tell, which is just going to be in a few minutes, then what we will do is there was something else I was going to tell you too. But when we do our now I forgot. Yep. See, I have not been getting normal sleep. The website you shared on your group has free. Oh, thank you. We will definitely. Thank you. Yeah, and Joe, so I think I gave Joni credit for something that you had suggested, so I apologize. Oh, I will. It's just, I kept the house perfectly clean, but that was about it. So when I say perfectly clean, please understand if Michelle's still here, she'll tell you, she'll agree with me that my idea of perfectly clean and her idea are two different things. So I always said if they put on my tombstone, she kept a perfect house, I would consider myself an abject failure. It's like you had this wonderful life to live and you clean the house. So, oh, you didn't? Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure. All right. Well, let's go to show and tell. I'm really anxious for my Mark to drive up because it is rainy in North Carolina. And I was hoping he would be here by now. So we'll see. Pardon me if I just check on him. Very attached to that person. Let's see. No, I haven't heard from him since 1 o'clock. But you know what? It's right still in that window. If you've never been on a motorcycle, it takes longer to travel by motorcycle than car. Number one, you've got to be super, super careful, especially on a rainy day like today. And you also have to stop every couple of hours to get gas because you've got this tiny tank. And remember, you know nothing. It's rainy down in Georgia too. Oh, doesn't that sound like a song? All right. Well, let's go to our show and tell. In fact, with this nice rain, I'm thinking one of my quarts beef and barley soup might be what's called for today. I absolutely love, love, love that now I've learned to go ahead and make my big family size meals and then freeze them. And there's nothing like having fast food that's homemade. Okay, here we go. And I've got to remember to show you some storm at sea ideas that I culled. Okay. All right, dear hearts, let's go and thank you to Susan Smith and to SJ and to Brenda for filling me full of wonderful photos. Okay. Now the first thing I'm going to go to is let's go to our summer. Let me see. Where is the summer folder? Boy, too many folders. Okay. So I will show you. This is if we did that quilt, the quilt that I first found. This is the border that I saw that I thought, oh, that would be a great, fun, happy border to put on the quilt. And here is that quilt. Let me bring it down. There's that quilt. Then, when I read about people saying, "Ooh, I'd like to do a storm at sea," well, I got excited about that. So, here is one of the storm at seas. Now, this is one variation. And by choosing where to place colors and what colors to place where, that's where you get those designs. But I don't know, I don't see. Let me, huh. There was another one. It was so cute. And it had, well, I don't see it here. And it was a blue storm at sea with a red heart in the center. I thought that was really cool. Okay. Now, let me see. I'm going to go to, hmm, show and tell. Okay. I knew I'd find it. Just give me time. Let me go back for 1 second. Let me see something. I might have put it in here. Let me see. Oh, this is a good thing. If we do our Thursday night quilting, I wanted to show you. Come on. I looked around kind of and looking for flower quilts. I looked around at different ways of setting it up. And then I thought, what if we did a watercolor background for our flower? So we may, since we're going to put this in art quilt, I think we may just go ahead and you could either, if you don't have watercolors, you could use thinned out acrylics, especially if you have textile mediums. So that I got very excited about that watercolor background. You can also, if you're not up to painting right now, you can just do a pieced background. And what I would suggest is you do a pieced background and then lay your flower on top. So just keep that in mind for Thursday. Here's the peony. What they did is they didn't make quite as many petals that are on a real peony. So I think that is beautiful too. But see the different kind of piece background you could do in the back? This is a chance for you to decide how you want it to look. Ah, here's another one. And this I thought was stunning. And they just did long strip backgrounds and then placed the flower on the front of that. So I thought that was beautiful. So keep in mind for our, now here's another one, and I think this, I really believe that this is fabric on a canvas, but I'm not sure. Maybe, well, it looks like fabric. But if you had a canvas, you could take and decoupage some fabric on the canvas and then decoupage your flower. So I think that's right pretty myself. So I'm just trying to give you, and this is a zinnia. I'm just trying to give you some ideas coming into Thursday. Here is another one. This is really pretty. And what they did with this one is they put it on a batik background, a mottled light batik, and then put everything down that way. So I think that's really pretty. So anyway, these are just some ideas for y'all. Now let me go back to, where is it? Oh, got it here. Okay. So let me see. Did I have anything? I don't think I had anything new. Nope, nope. Okay. So let's go back to this. Alberta sent me some new photos. This our new photo this week. Here are some placemats that she's been working on, and I think they're beautiful, complex, just wonderful. And it's nice how that she made them different colors. So maybe when you go to have dinner with her, you could say, I'll sit at the blue chair and I'll sit at the orange chair. I just love that. So there, her table must look beautiful. There we go. All right, let's see who else did show and tell. Alexis. Oh my gosh, we have had so much fun with Alexis, and she's been productive. She has gone to a show and met the actors who played the role, got a signature from them, and they loved seeing her work and what she did. Love, love, love that. Okay, then here's another one. So it's nice to see her blossom in her art and for her to get some really good feedback on her beautiful work. So, way to go, Miss Alexis. She's just beginning her art career, but it's going to be wonderful, I can tell. Okay, now we'll go to Betty Meisner, who, oh, she sent some wonderful things. Okay, Here is her migration. Let me bring it up. Hold on. Come on. Okay. Look at this wonderful art quilt. Isn't that amazing? And I love the simplicity involved. I mean, look at the sun rays. This is beautiful. And I'm going to learn from this because sometimes paring it down is so much more effective. I tend to go in with everything, but this taught me when I looked at this, I said, I love it. And why do I love it? I love the play on the colors. I love how close they are to certain things in the work. I love the background. I love the bright sun, the simplicity of these stitches. So it to me is quite a work of art. Way to go, Miss Betty. Then here is her watercolor wash quilt that she's been working on. And butterflies are definitely a theme of ours. Isn't that wonderful? It's kind of like a sideways Bargello. I just love that. And I love how she featured the butterflies. So our Betty's something else. And there's Miss Betty. And here is her watercolor quilt before she had sewn it together. She's got such a vision. Look how she laid these out in rows. And it really, it's intense, then it fades to light, and then it becomes intense again at this edge. Way to go, Miss Betty. You're very much an artist. That is wonderful. So thank you, Betty Meisner. Then Miss Bonnie. Oh my goodness. Now let me see. I'm just going to go through all of them because I don't think I sorted them in any way. So let's just go through all of them. So this is to show you this is the drawing she had to do. Then here is the tiny little work of art that she did. Beautiful. Here is a picture of the now I lost that word. Of the moon goes in front of the sun eclipse. There we go. I got it back. You can always tell when I'm tired. I just kind of I was telling my daughter, and boy, do I date myself using this. I said, the Rolodex is still working. I just can't get it to stop on the word I want. Here is a wonderful red work of patience. I could use that. Here is another shot of the eclipse that Bonnie's friend took. Here is she participates in blocks of the month, and her exchange person sent her 2 for March. Isn't that wonderful? And I love this. I was looking at it. She must have taken this would be a half square triangle with snowball corners. Not here, but everywhere else. Isn't that a great idea? I love that. And the colors are really cool, very subtle. Here is her precious little baby dragon that she's working on. Love that. I love that this group has such an eclectic love of art. And this is her completed little newest black work. And understand, this is probably 3 inches. It's just amazing. Amazing. And LaFleur, and I had someone, Bonnie, if you listen to this, I had someone ask, do you have that pattern? Because it is really a striking quilt and I want to get mine finished. So Bonnie's really making a huge impact on our UFO challenge. Let me see if I can get this up so you can see. This is starting her block she named Goldie. And that's one of her little dragons where I'm doing spring. Well, I haven't been doing many lately, but I'm working on spring red work. She's working on her dragon red work. So that's wonderful. This is Laughter, We sure know couldn't do without laughter. Here is her entire Redwork project. I mean, blackwork, pardon me. And blackwork, the difference in blackwork and redwork is blackwork is done with geometric designs and it dates back to, I know, the 1500s. It was very popular in the 1600s. And it's named because of the color thread that they had most often to use. And so that's really beautiful. Some people also call it Jacobean embroidery because it was of that time period. It's really beautiful. Look at this. Here showing you what she's done so far. Fits in a 2-inch block. Here is her red work dragon. And I think that might be it. Let me see. Yep, that was it. But Miss Bonnie has been prolific. Goodness gracious, way to go. Then we got some pictures from Miss Brenda Sharp. She's wonderful and she owns a quilt shop in a rural area of Michigan. And she also does machine quilting for people. But here is an eagle quilt that she's been working on. Isn't that beautiful? That machine reminds me of Miss Sonia's machine. Miss Sonia has the coolest machine. It sings to her as she's working. It has the sweetest little uh, chirps and beeps that I love it. I call it singing. But look at this. Isn't she something? I tell you what, these are all possible because of. Um, now I just forgot that word. Those are possible because of fusibles. Thank you. All right. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Moose. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I love that. One day, and it's got a lot of, oh, let me see if I can get it closer because it's got a lot of thread sketching. The difference in thread painting and thread sketching is thread painting covers the whole piece of the work, and thread sketching is to enhance the fabric that's there. So there you go. Isn't that amazing? Love that. Ah, this is a neat one. And you know what? That's an easy process and can be very dramatic. Is you sew your strips together, you cut them in a circle, and then you stitch them down on your background. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. There's another one. I'm gonna have to enlarge some of these. I downloaded these at the last minute, so I didn't have a chance to edit them. But I love how she's framing her work. That's a neat way. Let's say you've got a piece of artwork and well, you weren't didn't really want to make it into a huge quilt. Well, then look at that. You frame it. Isn't that beautiful? And I think I've got this in a close up. Wait till you see because it's a three-dimensional work. Okay, now let's bring this one up. As you can see, Miss Brenda stays busy. That is gorgeous. I want to find out. I'll have to really enlarge this because I'd like to know how she did her leaves up here. So I'll have to find out. All right, and here is another one. I was so happy to hear from Miss Brenda. Ah, this is a lighthouse quilt. A lighthouse in the distance behind these birch trees. Beautiful. Oh, look at this one. And that is gorgeous. This is an amazing gnarled tree, and then the birch trees and the wildflowers and a lake with some mountains behind. So she is doing great work on landscapes. Very good. Wow. And this is cool. One day we'll have to try one of these and just a three-dimensional quilt. That would be really wonderful. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it reminds me of the Tesla, his some of his drawings. Which way is it really going? That is fascinating. Beautiful work. This is that quilt. And look at the three-dimensional. These look like a yucca leaf. And then look at the purple flowers. And look at that. It looks like it's done with pieces and confetti fabrics. That is wonderful. And then she probably put tulle over it and did the quilting so it would hold all the confetti pieces together. This is a beautiful American Eagle quilt. Very nice. So thank you, Miss Brenda. I'll go back later and just make sure I've got all of your pictures. But I was in a huge hurry. I thought, oh, please, Deb, you got to hurry up and get finished. So Miss Jody has been working. Now we're at Miss Jody's. And look at this. Isn't that great? She has been working on a block of the week, I believe. And it is beautiful. Now it's been filled in around the center with a beautiful pale log cabin. That's nice too, because it brings you in and then guides your eyes back out. And keep in mind, if you have a busy quilt, consider adding some soothing parts that will help balance. And there's a close up of her really beautiful. She loves shirtings, and you can see her shirting fabrics in that log cabin block. And here is the latest. We here at Our Time to Quilt absolutely adore. Whoops, I tried to make it too big, I think. We adore her matinee monsters. And she has a whole series in this, and they're fabulous. And look at that. And when she sent me the email, it said, um, I think we need a bigger boat. How cute is that? So wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Miss Jody. Now let's see who else. Let me see. Miss Mary has been busy, and she is also doing the English paper piecing, and I hope she's enjoying it as well. There's her beautiful deck. Her husband's a carpenter. Can you tell? Whoops, my finger kind of jumped ahead. Her husband's a carpenter. It's a gorgeous deck, and does that look peaceful? And here's another block and another block. So we love Miss Mary's work. Thank you so much. I tell you what, I know that I adore this show and tell. So thank you for sending in pictures of your work so that we can share. And look at what Miss Marcia did. She loves her crochet, and that's a wonderful little purse on from crochet. That's beautiful, Miss Marcia. Okay, here we go. Now, Patricia Fry. She has been busy with her blocks. They're beautiful. I just love star blocks, don't you? Let me enlarge this so you can see it more clearly. Love, love, love this. And let me enlarge this one more time. That is so cool, and I love the addition of the striped fabric. It really makes it pop. That's wonderful. All right, now let's see. Miss Polly. Oh, yeah, she finished her black work. And if you notice, it looks like it's in a dark olive green, which I find very striking. That is just wonderful. It is beautiful, Miss Polly. I think that would look beautifully framed. Framed, look beautiful framed. I'll say it right. Okay, now let me see. Miss SJ. She wrote in Her husband is doing better, but she's having some health issues. That's the worst part of getting older is you spend so much time at the doctor or there's a new symptom. So we're thinking of her. We're going to keep her close to our heart. But she wanted to tell you with not feeling well, it's hard for her to thread her needles. And this has changed her whole life. And I know I own one, and probably most of you do. And it truly is a wonderful, wonderful tool to help you thread your needles. And you stick the needle hole down in here, and then you pull your thread up, you put it across here, then you push this and it sends a little thing to poke the thread through the needle. Then you can pull this out and pull it all the way through. It even has a little cutter blade too. So I got to tell you, in fact, you know what? This is the cutter blade. I think you put your thread right here. Pardon me. This is where you put your thread, and that's your cutter blade. And this little thing pushes, there's a little piece of metal that pushes through the eye of the needle. And you can usually do really tiny eyes with that. So thank you for sharing that, Miss SJ. And please know that we're thinking of you and hope that you will get better very soon. It's very hard when you're sick. It's like now we finally have the time to do what we want. We might not have the health to do what we want. Oh no. So let me tell you, I know I have been there. And I'm sure they could afford a wing on that hospital after all the things I've had. This is a wonder. This is by Susan Smith, and it's an apple table runner. I think that is just lovely. And I don't think I got all of her photos. I had run out of time. I do apologize, but I will try to get them for next week. And look at this. Let me get this enlarged. Isn't that beautiful? I love it when you see quilts in different colors than we're used to. Oh, and this is adorable. Look at this. Isn't that the cutest thing? And that's the beauty of applique with fusibles. Here's a Christmas ornament. And where she got that tiny little holly in the center, I'll never know. That is amazing. And here is a wonderful look at this. I love those colors too. And evidently this was a quilt from a retreat for her daughter Nikki. I think that's lovely. I love oops, sorry. And this was a scarf that she made for a friend. It looks like a crocheted with some of the fancy new yarns. And here is a pincushion made for another friend. It's so delicate. The little pearls. I love that. The little beading and the embroidery. That is lovely. So we'll have some more hopefully next week. And then our last show and tell is from Miss Vicky, also known as Joso. And her sister lives in a house that was renovated from a church. And isn't this, I mean, how appropriate could that be? Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. Way to go, Miss Vicky. And oh, here's another one, another angle of that quilt. Beautiful. I know her sister treasures it. And then she had showed us a picture of some bunnies she had in her garden last year. Oh, and she said that the bunnies didn't eat. She has a raised bed garden and her bunnies did not eat her plants. I went out yesterday because I planted bulbs for the Asiatic lilies last year. The bunny has eaten half of them. My heart was broken. I was like, no, this is not fair. Let's see. Oh, look at this. This is sweet. That's right. She had made this for a young woman I've now forgotten, maybe going to college, but I love that. And a rug to match. Now that's pretty cool. You get a quilt and a rug. That's pretty cool. Oh, wow. Mm, this is beautiful. So, way to go, hon. Oh, there's the back. I like what she used for the backing. I like it. Okay, and it's already been bound. That's wonderful. And here's one more picture of the bunnies. They're so cute. Look at those. They're cute until they eat up all my plants. Oh, I love wildlife, but boy, there are times. So I think that was it for our show and tell. Okay, let me turn you back around and oh, I'm feeling much better, but my nose still gets a little stuffy. All right, turn this. Yay. All right. Here we go. Ta-da! Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. So, oh, you learned you should use more neutral colors. Gotcha. You know what? Oh my gosh. Canadian artisan. Oh, it's so good to see you. Thank you for putting that in, you sweetheart. Oh, how cool. I love, love, love that. Oh my gosh. We hadn't seen her for a while. How have you been, sweetie? I mean, you've had a tumultuous year, I tell you. But I hope that you're doing well. No, he's not back yet, and it's starting to worry me just a bit because I have a feeling he's run into some heavy rain. When it rains that heavy, he has to pull off the road and either wait under like an overpass or pull off an exit and go to some place where he can get out of the rain. So it's probably one of those, but I sure do. I can't wait to hear that bike come around the corner. So last year he came home in pouring rain. And it's awful when it's cold and wet, but it's why I prefer a car. But you got to have your passions in life and all of that. Oh, I sure will, Laura. Thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what he did. It's been crazy, but you're slowly getting back to being creative. I've been helping the kids with their woodworking. That's wonderful. And I forgot your first name. It's not Teresa, I don't think. But it is so good. It's so good to see you. Oh, I've worried about you. I know I forget certain words during the show if I'm tired, but I never forget people. And I realize sometimes you don't hear from people that get busy, they're doing something, but we think of all of you all the time. So Carol, that's right. That's right. And in fact, Carol, you still have your channel going, don't you? And it's on YouTube and it's wonderful. Sometimes she pairs up with another woman, they talk back and forth from each other. And Carol, and I love watching. If you're ever looking for a peaceful show where you're learning, but you feel like you're just sitting with friends, this is a great channel. And Canadian Artisan, I guess, is that how they can find you? Oh, she does. Yeah. So if it allows you to put your channel, um, do it. And I'd love to kind of circle. Now it's just you. Okay. It's still great fun. And if you like slow sewing and that whole movement of just peace and tranquility, and she does the most amazing scrolls, like calendar scrolls. And yay. So please, please, please go check out Canadian Artisan. She's a lovely, lovely lady. So I I'm tempted. I know, well, we've got a few minutes. I'm deciding. I know y'all are going to be worried about him till he gets here. I wish he would have. Let me make sure he didn't let me know. Nope, I haven't heard from him. He said his bike doesn't like the cold. So it I think that, he's probably having to kind of work with it to get it home. I don't know. It's usually a very responsible bike. Okay. Nope. All right. Well, you started weaving. Oh, you've got to connect with our Polly because she does beautiful weaving. Oh my gosh. She got a loom. I love this Polly. Polly is so talented. She decides, I want to learn how to quilt. She makes the most gorgeous quilt. Oh, I want to learn how to weave. She buys herself a little loom and she just goes to town on it. I mean, something else. So y'all two should connect because you can share a lot. Oh, you're having to miss Thursdays. Chloe's taking. Oh, that's wonderful. Very good. I have a feeling she's doing really well because she's got enough of the breed in her that they make such good, attentive and um, caring dogs. Very caring. So that's wonderful. Yeah, I'm sitting here now, like, okay, I haven't heard from him. I hope he's okay. I think I might just text him and say, how's it going? I try never to bother him like this, but sometimes you just get worried. So let's see. I'll just say, you okay? Oh, goodness. I always tell myself, we get so worried. You know how we are. But I always tell myself, no, he's been doing this for years and he's always okay. He's so careful. Okay. Well, I think maybe I should go ahead and go. The only thing I worry about is I will definitely come right to the site and let you know when he gets home. And I think it's just the weather. I have a feeling this might put a dent in his bike riding career because it can't be fun. Cannot be fun. Okay, I will surely tell. Oh, so yes, your gym has had plenty. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not easy to ride in the rain. So it's the downside. One of the many, but we won't go there. I can't help it. When you love somebody, it worries you. So I will definitely come on the site and you know what? I'll probably also just send a little email because I have most of your email addresses. So I'll do both. And that way I know you know. Well, y'all are the best. And thank you once again for spending this time with me on Sundays. I I think sometimes, gosh, what would I do without these shows? You keep me so inspired and busy. I have to really stay busy to keep up with all of you. So it's a wonderful thing. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you Thursday night. We'll work on this flower. So I better have the quilt pattern done sooner rather than later. Okay, good. Wait a minute. Let me go open the garage door. He's here. Not that I'm excited or anything. Okay. Yay, he's here. Oh, thank you for babysitting me until he got in. Oh, so I went and opened the garage door, and that way he can pull the bike right in. Because, oh, I know, I'm so happy. I tell you the truth. He has been on the road since before 9 o'clock. That is like twice as long almost. Anyway, now I wasn't worried a bit. No, no, I don't care that much about him. Oh God, I tell you. But you know what? It was nice. Part of me was like, well, if I stay here with the girls, then I have less time to worry myself. But I went out and opened the garage door because one thing when you have a wet driveway start and he has to slightly go uphill, that it's better to go ahead and get some momentum going and then get in so you don't get slippery. So I'll let him come say hi and then I'll go ahead and let you go. But y'all are dear hearts. Thank you so much for keeping me calm. We love them and that's why we let them do this. But that's why it's so hard because you worry. But he's so careful. He's so conscientious. But the thing is, you can't control what other drivers do. And a lot of times, I myself have pulled right in front of a motorcycle, not realizing. And I was like, oh my God, I know better. And you just have to, oh, he he did fall in the driveway. Um, he was going out to get the bike inspected. There were a lot of wet leaves on the driveway, and the bike went down. And somehow it's a big bike. It's a touring bike. And so it's like 900 pounds. And he had to get himself out from under the bike, pick it up, and oh, scary. Yes, I'll be glad to, hopefully, he'll be right in. So I know the dogs are going to be so happy to see them because they just have been, they don't like any change and daddy's not here and they've been barking at everything. And I think, oh my gosh, give me some peace and quiet, dogs. But I hear the door. The ladies are still here waiting to say hi. There's Blossom. Maisie. Hi. Hi, Grom. Fuck you. He is here. The ladies were hoping. You're freezing cold.
I have to get into warm shower.
Yeah, please go get. Thank you, sweetheart, and welcome.
I'm not even as soaked as I was, but
I knew you were going to
you
be
should have seen it.
so cold.
It was horrible.
Oh, well, you don't worry. Oh, he making sure to close and lock the door. But they've been kind of because I've been worried about you, so they were kind of. They've been keeping me happy. So he's had a good week this week, and that is wonderful. So, well, thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for babysitting me. Now I can breathe easily. And I'm going to go up and get out some of that beef barley soup and start warming it up because he's ice cold. His hands are so red and cold. So it's going to take him a wee bit before he warms up. But take good care of yourself. Thank you again. You're such dear hearts. Thank you for spending time with me. And yes, very glad he made. Yeah. Yep. His nickname is Boomerang. And so thank you. Take good care. And I'll see you Thursday night and next Sunday. Bye bye. Y'all are the best. Bye bye.